All right. So the thing that stood out for me the most was how you introduce your tape with the aspect of grace, which I feel most people, even up to now, don't fully understand. So I was like, why would someone venture into such a diverse?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like complex
Yeah.
just to grasp the aspects of grace as an individual, even as a Christian. So doing an entire thing around it, like what drove you to capture the?
Let me just take you back. In 2014, on the 25th of May, I lost my mom um, from hypertension. Uh, by then I was a believer, but not fully immersed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to like take a break off music, and by then I was a secular artist. Off music.
So you were a believer doing secular music,
Exactly,
and you
yeah.
took a break off the music.
Yeah, off the
Okay.
music. Yeah. So I was trying to find myself and trying to understand the whole thing. Uh, so the one thing that really got to me was the fact that she was fully immersed. She was a Christian and she used to pray a lot and stuff like that. So I was wondering, why would God take such a person? Yeah, because it's like I was riding on her prayers. No, I never used to pray. I used to pray those popcorn prayers and stuff. Yeah, so she was like my intercessor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got confused and lost. Felt so lost. So I decided to create. I remember the time that she was around. Um, she used to talk to me about music and stuff. She'd be like, I know. Why can't you just do gospel? I know you do secular and stuff. So I was like, no, in gospel music, there's no money in that area. So
When
yeah.
people say that, do they say it because they're actually making money from secular music, or is it just like a perception even before you make any money?
I think it's both. It's both.
Were you making any money as a secular artist?
I wasn't, but people think because it's let me just say secular music seems to be more louder than gospel. Yeah. That is why a lot of people venture into secular music because as in it's not as in gospel music is not as loud.
Pronounced.
Yeah, it's pronounced. Yeah. So I decided to take a break of the same music thing, and I got introduced to poetry by a friend of mine back in high school. Then I started writing, I started venting, I started asking God questions like, why did you take her away and stuff like that. So I was just come a depressed guy. Yeah. So I started asking God.
How long after was this from your mom's?
A year.
A year after.
Yeah.
Okay.
A year.
So how did the transition occur? How did you figure? Let me just go all the way in.
I started reflecting upon the words that mom told me. Her being very sensitive about music and stuff and about my music. So I was like, why don't I just give it a try and just switch? And besides, I'm searching. It's like I'm still searching. I'm still trying to find myself. And yeah, so let me just continue searching musically now.
Yeah.
Let me just stick it out there. The whole thing, as in the whole EP.
Yeah.
As you earlier mentioned, it's about grace,
Mhm.
and grace is broad. There's so many myths about grace. People think grace is a ticket to sinning. Yeah. So like a pass to sinning, and other people think grace actually gives you power over sin. So that song, that was actually me. As in the whole project is two-person. That was me
you're actually
at that
talking
time.
about yourself.
Yeah, that was me at that time when I lost my mom, because I started experimenting on a whole lot of things. Like I tried alcohol, I tried drugs, but I never touched a lady at that time. I was still a monk and some extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they that song, if you listen to the whole chorus, they are the last, is it 4 bars? It's saying, it's asking the person now, because it's more of a, like a conversation. Yeah. So I'm like, ubala na do te fintuntina, ma wale msewo te fintuntina, kudating abali for te fintuntina. But then the 4 bars says, the question is, do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? What are the consequences? So it's like you can do whatever you want, because free will stuff. You can do whatever you want, but you still have to account for whatever it is that you do. So that was me at the time. The first verse was explains my state at that time. So I was like, free will, Bali Tupa. It's real, Bali Tupa. You can do whatever you want because His will, Yadi Shupa. Great still, Alekupa. Breathe still, the Fiashupa. Stand in front of the church and scream, I will kill. Look at that. So I had this to my beef with the church and stuff. I never wanted to. I never wanted to hear the name of Jesus or the name of God. So it's like I was upset.
So did you take a break from rap or from Christianity as well?
Everything. It was, everything. I was suicidal at the time, so I wanted just to give up on everything.
So I feel like I'm missing one translation. Like, how did all this start making a bit more sense?
I don't know. It was I don't know. It's like post story. It just happened out of the blues. Like you're on the journey to go do something messy, and God shows up. So mentally, yeah, as in he showed up. As in, yeah, so it just happened. I don't know. I can't. I don't even have a proper explanation for it. It just happened. Like, boom, started feeling the peace and the urge to seek him more, and he changed my perspective towards him. So he was like, I'm not your enemy. I'm actually your best friend. I'm your father. So come to me if you really want to feel the presence of your mom. I mean, you can find that in me.
Yeah.
So come to me. So I decided to change stuff.
Okay, so when a kid slaps me, I wouldn't take it personally, because I would understand to say the kid is a kid, so I can't. I'm an adult. So the understanding you establish makes you accept certain things more easily, right? So when it comes to your mom's death, what understanding did you establish that made you feel more accepting of the situation?
My older siblings used to tell me that I was what's the word, pampered, is it? Yeah. So I couldn't do things just all by myself. I'm like, I know mom helped me and stuff like that. So her absence made me realize so many things, in the sense that I decided I just had to grow from that. I just had to grow. I just had to move on, because her death made life more worth living, as in a reasonable way, because I used to waste it when I could do my whatever it is I was doing. So yeah, so I decided to live right. Yeah, that's what I can say, for lack of a better term.
So how long have you been on this journey since the last transition?
It's been 4 years now.
4 years now.
Yeah.
At which point did you begin working on this mixtape? How long ago did you start?
That was last year.
That was last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so how was the process? Who did you work with? Where was this done from?
The EP was produced.
It's an EP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Produced and mastered from the Copper Belt by a friend of mine by the name of 15. Yeah, he's a close friend. Yeah, so...
Was this a one take, one night? Because obviously from Lusaka, Copper Belt, or did you stay there whilst you were doing it?
Yeah, I was. My dad is actually in Kid.
Oh, so it's still...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I usually travel when school closes. Yeah.
How's your relationship like with your dad at the moment?
Dad was never around. Yeah, used to, work a lot. He was workaholic. So he never used to be found at home. Only maybe kuma evening, so he comes in. He's brought some foodstuffs and stuff and he eats. So he was just a father in terms of provision, not as in being there for me.
Yeah.
So it was difficult. I remember there was a time I was at the studio. I used to work with K Dash, K Dash?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in K2. So we had the sort of bride there. There was alcohol. Then I went home drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I found everyone, like my elder siblings and my dad, seated in the living room. Then I sat there as well and started venting and lashing out. So I was like, Dad, you're never around, son. So I don't even know you. Don't even know me. Yeah. Then afterwards, I went to my room and cried and slept.
So how's your relationship like currently at the moment?
It's good.
Okay.
He's remarried. He got remarried just months after the my mom passed on. Which really got to me again. I was like, dude, why? She just passed on. She just passed on. So so.
But did you make your amends? Who approached who? Are you like still cool? Or?
Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, it's his wife. Yeah, she's his wife. So
yeah,
I'm cool, and it's there and lose my mind. The third verse.
The third verse. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the EP. Which track do you feel people should pay attention to the most?
All of them.
So what would be your last message to the people watching this?
In as much as we all listen to music, and I mean music is nice. I'm more interested in the content on the song. So my advice to the people out there is listen to the content of the music, as in the content. What is the artist talking about? Because long gone are the days that we have to entertain people when they're actually going through something that's real and personal. So at least to the artist, if you can talk about something that's edifying your neighbor, or something that's happening around, as in what can we do and how can we grow from our pain and the things that we're going through. If you put that on a song, I think music will be more relevant.